Hello everybody, it is BYG Agami back with another video, and today I got an open question for you guys. I really did enjoy recording last week's open question, which was, what is your favorite episode for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains? But now it's time to hit back to home, which is Duel Monsters. I got a quick open question for you guys, and it is, what is the most dreadful arc in Duel Monsters? What arc did you hate? You can even talk about any other Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. I'm going to be talking about DM simply because that's what I'm most knowledgeable about, and that's what I can really sort of say, because when I watched all the other series such as GX and 5Ds, those were like years ago, and also I really didn't analyze it. I think with me doing YouTube and really analyzing stuff, because I have to review it, I have to be fair in addition to sort of point out the flaws simply because I think it's the right thing to do for at least reviewing. I'm just going to be saying that the arc that I hated the most in Duel Monsters has to be the Noah arc. Virtual World arc. Now, I like the whole, Noah aspect to it. I think it's pretty cool. In addition, I also love the whole Kaiba background story. I mean, it's really cool that we get to see a lot of the background stuff about the Kaiba brothers and Gorzaburu actually being shown in the anime. Now, if you guys don't know, Gorzaburu was shown in the manga during Det T. Actually, yeah, even prior to that, if I recall, towards the build-up to Det T, I forget, I think it was during the Capsule Monsters Chess, rather, when Mokuba has a game of Capsule Monsters Chess with Kaiba, and I think it was towards the ride to the Kaiba Manor, the limousine ride essentially, where Mokuba Kaiba tells us about how it's been 6 months since Gorzaburu died and Kaiba's taken over Kaiba Corporation. And in addition, we get to see a little bit about Gorzaburu. We actually get to see a scene, and this is probably one of the best scenes in the early chapters. I mean, a lot of the early stuff is sort of whack and really boring, to be completely honest with you guys. But one moment that was really cool and was, worth reading is when Kaiba actually confronts Gorzaburu. And if you guys don't know, Gorzaburu kills himself, and the reason why is because he wants to have the last laugh. I forget what quote he said to Kaiba, but it was essentially like, quitters never quit. I'm totally forgetting, but I'll pop it up on the screen right now and you guys can read it. And that's what Gorzaburu says right before he kills himself to Kaiba, and that really, I would say, sort of instills in Kaiba. And I remember what Kaiba says. He says, "I know." And he says, "I'll never forget," or something like that. And that really did stick with him. Hence why a lot of DSOD and Kaiba's emotions spring from that particular scene, along with that particular moment, and a lot what occurs in those early chapters. Because if I do recall, Takahashi in an interview states that this movie, at least for Kaiba, is very reminiscent about his early self, before a Tim came in, before the Mind Crush, etc. He's going back to his roots because the Pharaoh is gone. And the Pharaoh was sort of like, how do I say, a neutralizer for Kaiba's true side. Anyhow, that was pretty damn long of an explanation just for something so minute. And that's because this is literally just me saying it over and over again, because I'm really, I would say, well knowledgeable about Kaiba along with Gorzaburu. And I like to say that I'm sort of an expert at Seto Kaiba, but they're much more knowledgeable people. But that's what I like about the whole virtual world arc, and I do appreciate the visuals. I've always said this. Now, I'm on the subversion of the virtual world arc, and I just completely dipped. I mean, I stopped at episode 104, 105. I'm like, this is so boring. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to skip it, or I'm just going to have to get some sort of DM nostalgia during this season of summer, or possibly in the future, and then go back to it. I did like the whole, encounterment that Anzu had with the penguin, and I also did like the castle that Otogi, or Duke Devlin, whatever you guys want to call him. I'm going to call him Otogi along with Honda, simply because that's the version I'm watching right now. And if you guys know me, you guys know that I don't say it based on, just the name itself. Like, I won't call Honda every time. I'm gonna call him Honda simply because that is the version I'm watching him in. And mostly I'll say the dub names if I'm talking about the dub, and I'll say the sub names if I'm talking about the subs. Yes, I'm that kind of fan, I don't favor one version, even though I do have a little bit of nostalgia in me, but I put that away. I put that away when it comes down to the YouTube videos. Anyhow, I do like the whole visual aspect of it, but the duels are somewhat boring. I do like the whole Noah versus Kaiba duel. I thought that was really, really cool. And as an Atim fanboy, this is my only bias in this video. I thought that duel was badass, even though most people hate it. But I just thought the fact that Atim picks up Kaiba's deck, right, has 300 life points left and completely murks him was cool. But besides that, the whole arc I think was so boring. And how they utilized Merrick as well. Merrick was trapped in an elevator, I think, for what, 20 episodes? Now that's a horrible way. I'm talking a horrible way just to get rid of the main villain. Trapped in an elevator for 20 episodes. I watched it not that long ago, probably 2-3 months ago. And I think that's like a long running joke in the Yu-Gi-Oh community as well. I think the abridged series really pokes fun at that mostly, and that's where the joke originated from, along with majority of the Yu-Gi-Oh jokes that are said in the community. But as I said before, I'm not really a fan of, the virtual world arc. I do like the whole VR stuff, very similar to the Mayari arc. And if you guys don't know, basically the darts arc along with the virtual world is just a extra addition, a sequel essentially to the filler arcs that took place between Duelist Kingdom to Battle City, or well, rather the Dungeon Dice Masters arc. Now, if you guys don't know what the filler arcs are, it's essentially Little Girl from America. We get Rebecca, and then it's the Mayari arc, which is basically with the Big Five. It's called the Legendary Heroes Quest arc. Now, I'm basically going to break it down and tell you guys why they are a sequel in some way. Now, the Atlantis arc, which is known as the Darts arc or Awakening of the Dragons, essentially that arc features Arthur along with Rebecca Hawkins or Rebecca Hopkins. And that is a continuation of the the little mini arc that we got of Rebecca. In addition to that, the Mayari arc, or the Legendary Heroes Quest arc, that features the Big Five, and it has a lot of VR virtual world aspects into it, and then that really gets touched upon and much more in depth inside the Noah arc, and that's a continuation of that because it does feature the Big Five, even though how they came to be in the Noah arc makes no sense. Like, you guys, you intelligent theorists in the comment sections, please do answer that, because I have no idea how they even got there. I do recall the sub touching upon that, but still, it just doesn't make sense, because when we see a Tim along with Kaiba summon, the Dragon Knight Master, that really dope card, they completely annihilate the Big Five, and the Big Five-headed dragon, and I have no idea how they reappear or resurface into the next arc. Maybe it's some sort of thing. However, I will compliment one other thing about the whole Noah arc, and I'm talking more positives than negatives in this video, because let's be honest, there's a lot of negatives to talk about in that whole arc. The positive that I really like is that it was at that whole Alcatraz Island, alright? Kaiba's father, or well, at least adopted father's island, in which he used to basically use it as a military testing ground for Kaiba Corporation. And I like how Kaiba, that's where he wanted to duel a Tim. That's where he wanted the Battle City Finals to happen. And after that, he basically annihilates that whole island, and he wins after Battle City. And I like how, the writers, even though basically filler in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, at least for the original series, is made because Takahashi needs to be ahead so that they can adapt the manga. I like how them going to Battle City, or well, rather the Alcatraz Island, is basically where Gorzaburu Kaiba along with Noah Kaiba are, and that's a really good tie-in with the Kaiba family. And one other thing I will compliment is the flashbacks that we got, because we got a lot of cool flashbacks of Kaiba and Mokuba and that whole chess match that they had with Gorzaburu. Really cool, really neat thing that they added in there. Let's see, what are some flaws? Because I've been going way too positive about this arc, even though it's essentially supposed to be dreadful. I think the Noah arc is around 20 episodes, which I think is a little bit too long. If I'm mistaken, it might be 25 episodes, somewhere around there, the 25 to 20 range, and that is essentially half a year. And in Japan, it went on a weekly basis. So literally, fans waited half a year to continue on with the canon story. And I would imagine, man, it was probably dreadful as heck just to get through it, because I think one other thing I really have about the Noah arc that I dislike is how it just really fades away from the whole Battle City Finals, even though, of course, it makes sense because Takahashi needs to keep up in terms of writing. He needs to be ahead. It just sort of fades away. I really would have liked it if they somehow tied in Bakura or Dark Merrick inside the whole VR aspect, virtual world rather, in Duel Monsters, or well, at least that arc. I mean, besides that, there's really nothing else I could say. I mean, the duels are decent. I do like how in the first duel that Tim has with that Spirit Master, I think that's what they called it, he was having a hard time figuring out how to win the duel. Oh yeah, also, I can't believe I forgot this, alright? So I'm not caught up in the sub part of this. I've watched the dub part, so I'm gonna go by the English names. So I like how Trishan turns into a monkey. I just thought that was funny, right? I thought that was pretty funny, right? So I'll give that arc that. But it's sort of whack how he was a, monkey. And let's see, another positive. I'm seeing a lot of positive, even though I'm supposed to point out the flaws. But the main flaws I have about this arc is it's too long, and it sort of fades away from the whole Battle City aspect that we're supposed to see, and that we're actually supposed to get when watching the show. And of course, it's filler, but I do like the whole rivalry that Honda along with the Togi had, just trying to impress Shizuka. I always thought that was really cool, and the humor side of things, even though Jinochi is mostly the humor side of things. And I'm sort of fading away from this video, but I just want to talk about it. I think one funny episode, I'm pretty sure it's called episode 98, somewhere around there, or 89, where it features John-Claude Magnum. I'm pretty sure that's the character's name. And Jinochi actually tries to speak English with him. It was really funny. Anyways, that is the video for today. Please do comment your guys' most dreadful arcs in Duel Monsters, what your guys' most dreadful arc in Duel Monsters is. Leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, check out the Facebook and Twitter fan page, and see you guys later. Thank you for watching.